Hey, this is Helen Paradise from SoCal, and you are listening to the Barbecue Central Show.
Start the game! Let's go!
We'll do it live. Okay. Well, do it live! I'll write it and we'll do it live!
So to get that perfect barbecue, you use wood. Are you sure it's safe? Whatever. We put the lighter fluid on, strike the match, and... Oh! Should we call the fire department? That might be a good idea.
Good evening and welcome to the Really Big Barbecue Central Show. This is the show that talks about all things that are important to the world of barbecue and grilling. This show, originating from the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame city, Bomb City, USA, Cleveland, Ohio, the barbecue capital of the North Coast. I'm the program host, Greg Rempe. Happy to have you aboard here on your Tuesday evenings, a live fire fun and frivolity show. If you would like to get in contact with the show or you would like to follow the show during off-show hours, here's how you do all that.
You can get in touch with the show by sending an email to Greg at thebbqcentralshow.com. Follow us on all the social media channels at BBQ Central Show. And be sure to subscribe to the show podcast feed on your favorite podcast platform.
Anything else you want to find out about the show can be found at the main website, thebbqcentralshow.com. And here's what's happening in case you get the newsletter coming up in about 12 minutes from now, a first Tuesday of a brand new month, and then that 14 past the first hour segment. Of course, we are having a stop through with Malcom Reed, How to Barbecue Right, Killer Hogs competition team. 35 past the first hour. He's been on a time or seven before. Current owner of Pits and Spits. It is Ryan Zboril. Looking forward to catching up with Ryan. And then we'll bring a close to the first hour, move to the second hour, where we will find normal first Tuesday of the month in the second hour, 14 past. Sam, the cooking guy. And closing out the show this evening, or as we like to call it, coming out of the bullpen, is a guy that was supposed to show up first hour last week. It went poorly. We've spent days, literal days, in re-sound checking, reconnecting. We just did it 30 minutes ago. It appears as of 8:30 p.e. things are going to happen. But who knows what's going to happen an hour and a half from now. But I will be excited to welcome, again, first-time guest, Kareem Pirani, ibbq.com. So that's how the show lays out tonight. Malcom Reed, Ryan Zboril, first hour, Sam the Cooking Guy, Kareem Pirani, second hour. Don't forget you can follow me socially, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Snapchat, and LinkedIn, all with the handle at BBQ Central Show. And we say good evening to those of you watching tonight through one of our video streaming platform partners. You can go to Facebook.com/BBQ Central Show or Twitter.com/BBQ Central Show to watch, or you can watch on YouTube, which is youtube.com/@BBQ Central Show, where we have a new YouTube poll question of the week that we're asking everybody, including all guests. And so I ask you, friends, referring to coffee, if you say espresso on purpose, you're a douche. And currently 100% of you are saying, yes, you are a douche. You know, it's an internal struggle here at the house. No names, please. Rule number one of the show. But espresso is said around this house more than I would care to even admit. And I just have to sit here and take it, because that's not a fight I'm about to have. But anywhere else outside of my house, I am having that fight. You can bet on that. not inside the house. And I'm glad to see that 100% of you are saying, indeed, that is douchebaggery at its finest. Results from the poll question last week: do you wash your chicken before you do anything to it? 85% of you are saying yes, you do wash your chicken. Is that right? I don't think that's right. 85% of you said no, you don't wash your chicken, now that I'm remembering correctly. 15% of you are saying yes, you do wash your chicken. And maybe I'm wrong on that. It could be back the other way. Usually it's just cut and paste for me. I don't remember if anybody recalls where we were ending the show last week on the wash your chicken. I can't believe that it's 85% of you think that you should wash chicken or that you even do wash chicken. And 15% of you are saying no, but I can't remember now. You've got me a buzz. Look, I'm not going to lie. I'm very concerned. Malcolm Reed is usually well into the box at this point, and he is not.
Andrew, you are
not in the box right now. I'm concerned. I am concerned. Malcolm Reed not in the box. So I haven't gotten any other. Oh, wait. Oh, no. Malcolm Reed 4 minutes ago saying he's trying to get in, or that he's in, but he's not hearing anything. Right, let's go ahead and fire back a quick note. I might have to send a hot note over to VMix support. Troubling, to say the least. Well, now I don't know where I want to go. Now I don't know, because I have some stuff here, but if Malcolm can't get on, then I have a whole additional segment that I need to fill, and all of a sudden material becoming at a premium. So I will start here this evening. Oh, wait. Somebody decided to say that out of, maybe it's two of you now, decided to say, no, it's not douchebaggery if you say espresso. You're wrong, by the way. Whoever the two of you that just answered, put your names to that in the instant chat. I would love to see how that could be. Who was owning up to that? You know, it's not spelled espresso, right? That's totally incorrect. It's as bad as me saying 100% assurity. Assurity is not a word. Espresso in the way that you are saying it, as in the strong coffee that Italians like, that is not a word, espresso. It's also not a fun way of saying express. It's also not saying what you might do to an orange or lime peel in order to get the juice out of it. Espresso, the oils from the rinds. I mean, it's all wrong. I could literally go on and on. We wouldn't need to worry about filling 2 hours if I had mind to talk about how wrong saying the word espresso is when you're talking about that particular kind of coffee, which if you look it up, sub out the X for the S, and then you are right. Espresso. Espresso. That's the right way to say it. It's the only right way to say it. I don't even know where espresso came from. I worry. I'm not going to lie. I worry about that. Terry in Kentucky is writing into the show.
Terry?
Greg listened to the show last week, and I'm wondering what technical glitch you could possibly have that almost cost you your whole show of guests. Hopefully you have this worked out as I listen in hopeful podcast form. Your pal, although according to you, not your pal at all, Terry in Kentucky.
Terry?
Terry, great. Love it, Terry. Very happy that Terry is here and that he's in, and he is feverishly listening to the show and constantly evaluating the show. Wonderful stuff. Thank you, Terry, for weighing in on the technical issues that we were having last week, although it appears that technical gremlins could be afoot as well. But we'll see. That's all we can do anymore, folks, is see, maybe I have to go to a complete new streaming platform, which would be terrible because I have this whole situation outfitted with stream decks and digital mixers and all this stuff. And I've already paid for it. I don't want to go to some stream yard that everybody else is using. I don't even know if I can use my stream decks with StreamYard. I don't even know. Something's going to have to change, I can tell you that. While we wait, I'll tell you about Pits and Spits, because if you're serious about your grilling game, then you need to check out the latest products offerings from Pits and Spits. In fact, we'll talk to Ryan Zaboral next segment about it. We kick things off, as we always do, with the Pits and Spits griddle. The gas griddle combining the power of a traditional grill with a versatile flat-top griddle. Engineered with precision and crafted from top-quality materials, the versatile griddle is set to revolutionize your outdoor cooking experience. Constructed of 304 marine-grade stainless steel and a fully welded design, the griddle comes with 4 burners to accurately manage your heat zones and get blisteringly hot, up to 80,000 BTUs if you see fit. Now, for those of you building your ultimate outdoor kitchen, you have time to check out the built-in pellet grill that Pit and Spits is offering, designed for the discerning grill master who demands top-tier performance. This grill is the centerpiece of any serious outdoor kitchen. From low and slow smoking to high heat searing, this grill can handle it all. Briskets, ribs, pizzas, veggies, you name it. This grill can cook it. And with Pits and Spits' legendary craftsmanship, you can be confident it's built to last, with stainless steel construction and a design that's as reliable as it is versatile. So are you ready to take your cooking to the next level? Head on over to pitsandspits.com/BBQ Central, all spelled out, by the way. The double T on the Pits and Spits. pitsandspits.com/BBQ Central, and use promo code BBQ Central for a free spice pack with orders over $500 or more. In fact, if you are going to order any cooker that Pits and Spits makes, believe me, is going to be over $500. So that free spice pack is guaranteed to be yours. We're back with Malcolm Reed right after this.
You're listening to the Barbecue Central Show. Broadcasting live from the Barbecue Central Show studios in Cleveland, Ohio. You're listening to the Barbecue Central Show. Once again, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
Welcome back. This portion of the show being brought to you by Fireboard, makers of Fireboard 2, Fireboard Pro, Fireboard Spark, Fireboard Beacon, and the all-new wireless Fireboard Pulse. By the way, if you use the Fireboard app, you have total access to all devices in the Fireboard ecosystem anywhere in the world. Fireboard.com, the website. Call 816-945-2232 with any questions that you might have prior to purchase or post-purchase. So I know you're out there getting it. Okay. Joining me now is the creator of How to Barbecue Right and the pitmaster of Killer Hogs competition team. Oh boy. Hey, Malcolm. Malcolm. Oh, sweet Jesus. Of course. It looked like he tried to test the connector and then jump back in through maybe his computer. I'm getting it saying, hey, they're trying, blah, blah, blah. I mean, I get it. I honest to God, I don't know what happened because I just sound checked a guy on 2 different lines, 2 different links, and they were all stellar. Sterling, I might add. By the way, 82% of you are answering the question referring to coffee. If you say espresso on purpose, you're a douche. 82% of you are saying yes. Hey, there's Malcolm. Hey, Malcolm.
Quality's going to suck, man. We're having problems here.
I don't know what the problem is. Last week I had connection issues in the first hour, and then the second hour seemed to be okay, and then I sound checked with a guy at 8:30, like literally 45 minutes ago. Everything seemed to be all right, and now my most staunch monthly guest is telling me that there's issues with the same type of issue that the guy last week was telling me was, hey, we're in, I can see me, but I can't see anything that's happening as we're getting it here. So I can only say thank you for efforting this way, and then I'm concerned now for the guy that's following up for you at 9:35. I don't know what the hell's going to happen. Anyway, I have all this stuff to talk about, though, just in case things were going to be falling out. Anyway, long way to go, Malcolm, to say YouTube poll question of the week that we're asking everybody, and I'm going to ask you this. Referring to coffee, if you say espresso on purpose, you're a douche, yes or no?
Yes.
Yes, of course. Although it's dwindling quickly in the other way, 79% of us, and it was 100 to start the show, but only 79% of us now are saying yes. And now it's already went to, we're floating between 79% and 80%. So with about half the votes I usually see coming in. So maybe this is one of those poll questions that elicits a lot of reaction. We'll see. The question to lead the show tonight with Malcolm Reed is, have you been on a content hiatus, not only on YouTube, but also on the podcast side of things?
We just fired it back up. We did our first podcast episode last week, and I started recording videos last week to drop this week. We got to get them out for the Super Bowl. So,
could you never do another cooking video and not have it affect the way your business runs at this point?
I don't know. I'm so used to doing them, and I've been doing all this other hunting content on my other channel. So I haven't stopped. I've just been putting the content other places. So I would like to think I can just roll into this one that I'm doing if I ever stop the barbecue stuff. So
what should we be looking at from a how to barbecue right content rolling out here quickly?
Man, we've got a big rib video coming out for the Super Bowl, and I've got some shorts that I'm doing for some other stuff. Going to do a little brotherly shove mini sub. I've got a Valentine's thing coming out, and we're actually looking at starting doing some live cooking stuff. Some stuff. I mean, it's not going to be like 4 or 5 hour lives, but things that I can cook in an hour just to test it out and see if people actually want to watch and sit there and cook along with me doing some stuff. So we've got a lot of big goals for 25. We'll just see how much of it I can get to.
Are you heartbroken that you're not seeing the Minnesota Vikings, who, I mean, at least from my non-sports expert take, highly overachieved this year compared to my Browns? Would you still, well, of course you would rather see them in the Super Bowl, but are you surprised they got as far as they did?
I'm very surprised. I mean, I would have liked to got that, a couple playoff wins. That would have been nice. But, Darnold kind of played those last 2 or 3 games like we thought he should play. He was playing way above board all season. And we had a great season. I'm not taking anything from it. I'm excited about next year.
Do you think he'll be back next year as quarterback?
I don't think so.
Where's he going to go? And don't you dare say Cleveland.
He may end up in Tennessee or New Orleans or somewhere like that. It depends on how this draft goes. It's going to be an interesting draft.
How much bison have you eaten so far, and have you settled on a favorite recipe with it yet? Because, as you had mentioned last month, a lot of it was just ground.
Yeah, so far I've ate some burgers and we've made chili a couple times, and that's about. I haven't cooked any of the bigger cuts yet because I haven't been home a whole lot. But that's coming, and I hope to do some recipes with some of it. Everybody's hitting me up wanting to try some of it, so I've been giving some of it away too. But it's good, man. It's good.
Does the shipping not work to Cleveland?
It does. If I got you.
Yeah,
I got you.
I would love.
Here's package coming your way.
I would love to sneak some bison in for bison smash burgers and see how quickly somebody realizes there's something a little off on the normal 80-20 that we would use otherwise.
That's the only thing you're going to notice is it doesn't have the fat content. The flavor, it's not a whole lot different than beef. Is what I mean. Rochelle, she's like, man, I couldn't tell you this wasn't beef. We've done it for tacos a couple times too.
Yeah,
just cook it up with some Mexican seasoning, and you can't tell much of a difference. It doesn't. I'm sure it's better for you because it doesn't have all that fat in it, but it doesn't cook out a lot of grease at all. So it's one good thing about it. If you're trying to eat a little healthier, it's a little better for you on the fat side.
Always looking to eat a little healthier, a little leaner when it comes to beef. I love to have 6 to 8 ounces of protein-packed beef every day if I can possibly do that. So, yeah, I'll be if you want to send some up my way, happy to try it out, give you some feedback following months as we work through that. Wing recipes for the Super Bowl. You'd mentioned you got some Super Bowl content coming out here quickly. We got Super Bowl weekend that is quickly upon us. I shit on a boneless wing, a.k.a. chicken tenders. Thoughts on boneless wings, Malcolm?
Absolutely not. I mean, it's chicken nuggets, man, and I'm cool with chicken nuggets, but let's don't make it up what they are. That's pieces of breast that you just batter and fried. I mean, that's a chicken nugget.
In your opinion, all things being equal from a sauce standpoint, as far as quality of sauce that you're getting, is the best sauce for a bone-in chicken wing buffalo sauce?
That's my go-to. I like the classic buffalo sauce on a wing. I always order that when I go to a restaurant. But I'll go a little Asian flair, a little jerk, or something like that. Change it up sometimes. But when it comes down to a hot wing, it better have buffalo sauce to start with.
Do you have a particular buffalo sauce recipe that you like to use?
Man, I'm kind of like the old-fashioned way. It's just a stick of butter, a bottle of hot sauce, a little garlic powder, a little onion powder. Maybe a little bit of honey just to give it a touch of sweetness, but I don't stray very far from that.
You're missing 2 key ingredients from the Anchor Bar wing sauce. I don't usually let this cat out of the bag, but eliminate the onion powder, number one. So garlic powder, yes, garlic powder, not garlic salt. Tablespoon of white vinegar, boom. Wow, that matched. As I said, boom, you dinged at the same time. That was unique. And then, fresh as you can get it, dill weed in the hot sauce. Cayenne pepper to amp up the heat. Only cayenne pepper. None of that other nonsense red crushed pepper.
That's going to be on my Super Bowl table, Greg.
Yes. You tell me.
I love the dill. I never thought about adding the dill, but we dip them in ranch or blue cheese. That ranch always has a lot of dill in it.
Yeah.
So those flavors go with a buffalo wing.
Yeah, that's the original Anchor Bar wing sauce. So it's Frank's Red Hot 12-ounce bottle. So amp up. A stick of, I use salted real butter. And then it's the vinegar and then cayenne for heat. And then a couple good shakes of garlic powder and then the dill weed. Telling you, put it over the top. You'll never eat it another way.
So you're talking just plain white vinegar or like apple cider vinegar?
No, white vinegar.
White vinegar.
Yes, believe it or not. Yeah,
I got it.
After the show, I'll shoot off the recipe real quick just so you have it, and then you can work it out. Let me know what you think after the fact. What are you going to be seeing on the Malcolm Reed menu for Super Bowl Sunday, aside from wings?
Well, we always do pulled pork because we can do so many things with it. People can make sliders. You can do barbecue nachos. We're going to break out the nacho. I hope you got your can of nacho cheese ready.
You know I do.
It's the perfect holiday for nachos.
Yes, no doubt.
I'm into meats and cheese, man. I love charcuterie, however you say it. that's it's something you can pick at while everybody's hanging out watching the game. So we always do wings, we always do barbecue. There's going to be some sliders, there's going to be some dips, hot and cold, buffalo chicken dip always, rotel dip, usually French onion dip or something along the likes, or a 7-layer dip. Super Bowls, it's as big a food holiday to me as anything. I don't care about the game this year. I'm not an Eagles fan. I'm not a Chiefs fan. I'm not, so I'm there for the food, for the squares. I like playing the squares on Super Bowl.
If you had to pick, would you rather see a Chiefs three-peat and make history, or would you rather see the Eagles put them down and revenge their loss from 2 years ago?
I want to see the Eagles win.
Yeah.
Keep it NFC.
No doubt. If you could collaborate with any chef, living or dead, on a barbecue fusion dish, who would it be, and what do you think you might create?
Oh, man, that's tough. There's so many good ones. Wow. I'd probably want to cook a hog with Mike Mills. I got a chance to go to his class years ago, and that was an incredible experience. And just the stories that you get, and the education you get from listening to him talk. And you don't even have to talk; you just have to listen. And get to do that, that's up there, man. That's up there.
I'm going with somebody you probably wouldn't think that I would go with. This is where I came from back in the PBS days. Justin Wilson. You kidding me? Oh, my God. Talk about stories. Talk about great recipes. Onion, garlic, pepperita. Ooh, it's one to miss. I guarantee. I mean, love everything about that guy. And originally I think when I look back on my youth, it was the Frugal Gourmet was a big deal. Justin Wilson and Yan Can Cook. Those three were the Mountain Rushmore of my initial cooking, aside from my mom, but guys that I'd see on television. And so entertaining, but the dishes were very creative, and would love to hang out with Justin Williams. Beyond the techniques and recipes, what's the feeling you're trying to invoke when you share your barbecue with other folks?
My style is just everyday backyard barbecue that anybody can do, and I try to deliver it like that, man. Because that's how I cook. So it's backyard style, and that's the message that I want to get across, is that anybody can do it. I mean, you can do my recipes. You've watched them. You've seen them. You probably, it doesn't take a whole lot to follow one of them. And I always leave room for you to add your own flair to it. I think that's really big when you get people to cooking. You don't want them just to be programmed robots cooking the exact same thing. You want to promote. You want to get people thinking about flavors and thinking about what they like, and turning stuff into their own dishes instead of just recreating somebody else's all the time.
What's your biggest pet peeve when you see people grilling or barbecuing?
Man, probably calling the grill a barbecue. I'm going to fire up the barbecue. It's not a barbecue. I don't know how you think that thing is a barbecue. It's a grill or a smoker. Barbecue is what we do. It's what we make.
I have two pet peeves. So number one is the guy or gal putting any kind of protein down on a grill, and about 8 to 9 seconds after they did it, they're already working spatula or tongs right on it. They have let nothing happen yet, and they are already on it trying to flip it over. My father-in-law kind of fits into that category, even though I've tried to give him lesson after lesson for 20 years. But what are you going to do? The other one is, how long is it going to take?
Yeah.
Especially if I fall victim in my house almost every weekend. Even my wife will say, when do you think it's going to be done? Like, who are you married to? When was the last time roundabout, can we get everything ready, or let me finish this, it'll hold, and then we can just collect everything in its own good time. But between people getting after the protein right after they put it on, and then people needing to know a time, those are my two biggest pet peeves, and they seem to flip-flop 1 and 2.
Yeah, well, in my house, they kind of already know. That's understood. We don't know when it's going to be done. It's going to be done when it's done. That's my answer. So I can't, I get you on that. The people flipping stuff, I just think that's inexperience. People just, I don't know why you do that.
If you were stranded on a desert island with only one grilling tool, not cooker, but one grilling tool, what would it be?
A lighter. I got to start a fire.
You're not rubbing sticks together?
I'm rubbing sticks.
Well, now you make a really
Maybe
good
have a
point. I was thinking thermometer just to make sure that I stay safe. But who the hell knows what I'm going to be cooking out there? But I guess, as you mentioned, you don't have any fire to start anything anyway. Then what good is a thermometer other than seeing how hot it is outside? You're right.
That's right.
Finally tonight, Malcolm, if you could cook, or you could have any barbecue cook-off with any three people, living or dead, who would the contest be?
Who would it be? Man, I'm gonna have to get Darren Worth in there.
Oh.
He's the GOAT.
Yeah.
We're gonna put him in there, and let's see who else. Who else would I like to add? I'll tell you who's fun to cook against. That's Myron.
Yeah.
He's a fun one to cook against, just because he carries on when he does it, and he's dang good at it. So that would be an interesting contest. Us three against each other.
No doubt. Malcolm Reed is right here, and he has worked through the technical hurdles. I just got an email from Tyler, and he's giving me his insight on what he thinks the problem is. So depending on how things shake out next month, we might have a workaround. Maybe Tyler and I can do a little quick test before the actual segment comes back up again. But appreciate you putting in the extra effort here, Malcolm. Have fun this weekend, and we will see you in March.
All right, go Eagles.
Go Eagles, no doubt. Fly, Eagles fly, as they say. Tyler telling me he thinks that the issue is with Google Chrome right now, which is terrible news because vMix is built specifically on the Google Chrome platform. So Firefox potentially, but as I look into my TV box, I do see Ryan Zaboral from Pits and Spits, who was here early and often, which I appreciate. Now, maybe he's on a Mac. Of course, we'll ask him that so I can start eliminating some things. Can't test now since Malcolm's in studio, of course, but from what I see online, that's the issue. So good news for Google, always updating, and when we always update, that means we always fuck things up. Just be happy with perfection, Google, on the Google Chromes, and quit messing with my show. I mean, do you want me to talk for 4 hours straight inside of 2 weeks? I mean, I can do it, of course. Do I want to do it? Do you want me to do it? I have this thing I even need to talk about. Hey, what do we love about ceramic cookers? We love that they're fuel efficient. We love that you can achieve low and slow temperatures for traditional barbecue meats. We also love that you can get rip-roaring hot for the high-temperature grilling of steaks and other thin cuts. But what's missing in the everyday lineup of ceramic cookers? The real ability to do true two-zone cooking. Two-zone cooking is very important to both professional cooks and backyard cooks. The best way to manage a fire, cook with confidence. However, getting a two-zone fire in a round ceramic cooker is not very realistic. Why? Because it's round. Enter Primo and their game-changing oval design. Shape gives you the ability to execute that two-zone setup that you desire. Also gives you the other ceramic grill benefits as well. Really, when you break it up or break it down, there's more than 60 different ways to configure the Primo cooker. So you're only limited by your culinary imagination. Here's the bottom line. Best ceramics in the biz? Yes. Patented technology and true two-zone cooking capabilities? Yes and yes. Only sold through dealers, so please go to primogrill.com, go to the dealer locator, type in your zip code, and find the local dealer near you. Then go visit in person. Touch and feel all those ovals, and then grab the one that best fits your need and budget. By the way, you'll never go wrong buying up. You will potentially have buyer's remorse if you buy down and go cheap at the beginning. Don't go cheap. Go big. Be happy. No one's ever complained about getting it bigger. Primogrill.com. That's Primogrill.com. We are back with Ryan Zaboral right after this. Stick around. We'll be right back.
You're listening to the Barbecue Central Show. Howard Stern, Jim Rome, Dan Patrick, and Greg Rampey. The Mountain Rushmore of talk show entertainment. Now, let's get back to the Barbecue Central Show.
I want to thank Malcolm Reed for joining us the last segment. HowToBBQRight.com, his website. My next guest tonight manufactures some of the best offset pits, pellet smokers, charcoal grills, griddles, and other live fire products available in the market today. I am happy to welcome back our pal and the owner of Pits and Spits, Ryan Zboril. Hey, Ryan.
Hey, Greg.
I'm happy to see you. Are you a Mac user?
Man, this is a Dell.
It's a Dell. All right. So I don't know if I'm picking up the microphone. Can you give me a tap? Yeah, but it's.
Let me.
Can you just reconnect? It's got a weird sound to it.
All right. How about now?
Yeah. Now we're good. Very good.
Okay.
Are you using Google Chrome too?
I am.
Yes.
I am.
All right. Well, it appears evidently you have been relinquished from the Google Chrome stranglehold of connecting into the show. So whatever you have been paying, continue to pay it at least for the next 20 minutes or so. We have a YouTube poll question of the week, Ryan, that we're asking everybody, including all guests, referring to coffee. If you say espresso on purpose, you're a douche, yes or no?
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, that's also, I think,
of course,
a very, very bad dad joke. Like not even like a funny dad joke, not even a fun dad joke. That's just trying too hard.
I hear people saying it like they're saying espresso, but they're saying espresso like espresso because they think they're right. They're not trying to be douchey. They're just.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh. That's one of those that I personally have a hard time not correcting.
What about the word OFTEN? How do you say that?
Often.
Is that how you say it?
Often. I say often.
Often
versus often. Often.
I believe the correct saying is often. No T pronounced.
Often.
Yes.
No T. Is that the grammatical?
I believe that's correct.
Often. You know, now you got me thinking about it. I don't know, Greg. I don't know. I feel like that was kind of that's a trap question.
No. Last time we spoke, we were talking about the release of the new gas grill / griddle combo, which stainless steel griddle that lays over the new gas grill, by the way. And I'm wondering, from a seller's feedback, what are you getting from folks that are buying it, and what are you thinking about it from a manufacturing standpoint?
It's been positive. We are really happy with it. I mean, I think it's one of those that there's kind of a need in the market for it. I think the feedback we've gotten is that a lot of people have cycled through several of the cheaper cast iron topped products out there, right? So I think they're starting to do the math and say, I've bought 3 or 4 of these $800 griddles over the past, 5 years. Plus the upkeep and the maintenance on that griddle top is a beast. And I think that's where I think people get really see a lot of the value in that. If you don't clean it in between cooks, it's not the end of the world. Whereas, some of those cast iron, man, you come back and that thing is just a rust bomb, and it is like, it's just a ton of work to get it kind of back up to condition, right?
You almost have to be cooking on it regularly to kind of keep it seasoned. Yep. Now, when I had my Blackstone, before I gave it away to my brother-in-law because there was going to be an additional griddle that was going to show up that is still waiting. Not a Pits and Spits thing. This is a different manufacturer. I bought a 36-inch silicone, almost like a sill plat that went over the cooktop.
Mm-hmm.
So if I went a month without using it, even in the summertime when it was humid and damp here in Cleveland, as it will tend to be from time to time, that kept the rust off. So maybe that was a magical fix. Maybe I got lucky. Maybe I eat exceptionally greasy, oily foods, and I was really just baking it into it. But having that silicone cover sit on top of the deck really seemed to warden off any of the rust that would normally develop through non-use.
That's pretty smart. I'm assuming it was making direct contact across the top, right?
Yeah.
It wasn't like a Tupperware top. It was like a blanket.
Sat right on top. Some budding business person saw the Blackstone and said, hey, what are people going to need that they're not thinking of? Oh, you need something to sit on top of that steel. And they took the measurements, and they probably went to China and bought 1 billion of them for 8 cents, and they're selling them for $20 on Amazon, and away you go. It was great, and it's 450 degree safe heat, so I never had an ounce of issue with it, and also I didn't really worry about rodents or anything maybe working their way on top of the cooktop and putting their dirty little feet and shitting on it. So maybe, even from a mental, it made me feel okay. So that was the only thing. Yeah.
What? I had not heard of that accessory, and I'm hoping that not many other people do, because we're counting on them not using that and keeping those Blackstones.
Yeah, no doubt they're gonna, of course, do that, and nobody listens to me anyway. So what they want to do is upgrade to the gas griddle combo that you guys are making, because I probably won't say it would be the last ones you buy. There's a pretty good chance that it's gonna outlive you, and it's probably gonna go down to a kid or a nephew or something like that.
That's the point, and it's the burners on them are easy to replace, so that if years down the road you happen to burn through that stainless, or get enough grease on them from grilling on it, you can replace the burners easily, replace the valves easily. I mean, it's all we've thought about all that, of how do you keep this thing for 20, 30 years. That's the plan.
What about the built-in pellet cooker? We had talked about that as well last time on. How is that getting into the market?
That's doing well. I mean, I think that is a little bit more of a unique product set. It's similar to the griddle space in that there's a bit of a gap, right? So you have your imported guys that are kind of playing around in that $2,500 range, and then you jump to us at $6,500, and then above us would be a Twin Eagles that's $8,000, $9,000, $10,000. So we're really at the bottom end of the American-made options. But again, I think that is a longer burn, because that's more of those tend to be more involved, what I'm going to call a capital project, right? So like building your house, rebuilding your outdoor kitchen. But we actually are releasing a smaller model. So our current model is 35 inches wide. We're going to release one that will fit into a 28-inch cutout to kind of help capture some more of those guys that might be replacing their gas grills.
Lifespan of this particular cooker, assuming the owner does their part of the maintenance?
Same goal. I mean, it's 304 stainless steel. Years down the road, you might replace a hot rod, you might replace a fuse or a motor, but the grill itself is, again, meant to be a multi-decade product.
At the end of 2024, it was announced that Weber and Blackstone were merging to become like one company, separate companies, but they were going to be one. How do you think that affects the market, in your opinion?
I don't think that affects. I mean, in a self-centered answer, I don't think that affects our part of the market necessarily. And I think that both those guys are so big that it makes a lot of sense for them. There's a lot of, banker bullshit word of the night synergies that are going to be realized, I think, across that platform. But I don't know how the market changes, right? I don't think that there's going to be any like kind of earth-shattering changes coming out of that's just going to wipe, one of the other big guys off the face of the earth. And that's no disrespect to Weber or Blackstone. I think those are both incredible companies and done a great job, kind of both in their respective kind of, categories.
If Weber came to you and said they wanted to have an even more premier line of pellet cookers and Pits and Spits was their target, is that a conversation you entertain?
I would, and part of the reasons why is we know some of the Weber, kind of the field guys. And so we have a little bit of a relationship with them, and that's through like the A&M barbecue camp or Camp Brisket. That's every January. So we've gotten to know some of the what I'll call the the pit level guys, for lack of a better way to put it. And I will also say that I do know that Weber cooked on a 1250 when they were designing their first pellet grill. So there was some, I think we were in obviously a group, right? They're looking at all the different products on the market. So I took that as a compliment, right? I mean, the budget those guys have and the visibility and presence those guys have. I'm like, look, man, I'm fired up, pun intended, that you even know who we are.
President Trump has started to unleash tariffs to countries we do business with, then backed off just a short time later. During the campaign, it wasn't really talked about how tariffs might affect prices domestically, but if you're any kind of business-savvy person, you certainly realize that prices aren't going to go down at all if these are once again reinstated. From your end, being a manufacturing business domestically, how do you see tariffs in general and how they will affect you and potential impact to the end user?
So I think just starting at the impact to the end user, something we learned over the past few years is that we have to pass those costs along. We also try to do a better job of preparing for them in advance and being less reactive and a little bit, not necessarily proactive, but have a little bit of a forecast to kind of guess, hey, look, what can we sustain for 12 months, right? We don't like to do multiple price changes throughout the year. We also don't like adding surcharges onto our products because we just don't think surcharges ever go away. But for us as a manufacturer, we saw a direct increase on steel prices in 2017 with the steel tariffs. And then anything you bring in from overseas, whether it's an accessory or wheels or, bits and pieces of electronics that flow through our controller manufacturer or whomever, right? Like if you want to buy a power cord from an American distributor, they're getting that from somewhere, and it's almost certainly overseas. So we've seen a lot of that already flow through, to the extent as long as it's not another steel tariff, I think the impact to our pricing is not negligible, but it's not a direct, percentage increase, right? So like, let's say there's a 50% increase on one of the raw material inputs that goes in a high heat paint. Well, that's not going to flow through to us as a 50% increase on our product, right? I mean, there may be a 1 or 2% increase that we're looking at and thinking about. But I think we are pretty insulated, at least as of now, because of where our steel is manufactured and who we buy it from. That could change. There's all sorts of things happen, right? Because those tariffs then impact other companies, other businesses' buying habits, and all of a sudden we can't get stainless, right? So you see not necessarily a tariff on your stainless, but there's just a short supply, and you get a run up of 2-3x like we saw during COVID. So I think as I look at it today, negligible or not negligible, not an earth shattering impact. We would definitely feel it though, but I think it would be in small enough bites that we could take it day by day.
Is Pits and Spits exhibiting at the Houston Livestock and Rodeo again this year?
We are not. We decided not to renew this year. It's an incredible event for anyone that's been to it or goes to the shows or just in general. It's an awesome event and one of the most fun times of the year, especially if you live in Houston. But we opted not to exhibit this year. One of the big challenges there is, and I understand why they do this, your booth has to be staffed. You have to have an employee present in your exhibitor space for all the open hours of the exhibit, if that makes sense. So every day for 21 days straight from 10 a.m. to 9 p.m. And that becomes
every
kind
day.
Of a beast. And so every day,
wow.
It's 21 days straight, every day. And so once you consider parking and getting down there, there is a pretty serious expense side of it, but it just, man, it's brutal, right? Like it's you or it's your sales guys, or last year we were running a couple of our fabricators down there, a couple of young guys that wanted to kind of cut their teeth on selling. We had a couple of contractors as well. And so we make it work, but it's a ton of work. It's not necessarily terribly expensive, but it's not free. And then also, like, I don't know that that's necessarily the place for us to go sell $4,000 grills. It's when there's a good concert and maybe someone's been there most of the day and had a few cold ones, they get a little loose with the pocketbook. But it's a lot of work to then, try to go find the right target to go sell these higher end products.
Will you sell off the floor there, or people put in an order and you go make one and deliver it that way?
They order it there and we deliver it to them. Yeah, it's not the type of place where you'd be able to wheel this out, half a mile to your truck and you could do it, for the record. You could do it with the pits and spits, no problem. It's a security problem.
Yeah,
not a product problem.
And it's not bringing in enough sales where you're like, we couldn't possibly, everybody's gonna have to suck it up for these 21 days because it's our Black Friday, but it takes 21 days.
There are enough kind of alternative marketing opportunities and branding opportunities that when we look at what this cost, we said, look, we think we can go put this money together, put this money to work in a different place and have a similar payback with an easier, lower lift.
Yeah.
Just a little bit easier. So we're trying to be more efficient with our time, with our capital.
First half of the year, anything new that we should be holding out for from a Pits and Spits release?
So I mentioned the additional size of the built-in. We have the 3-burner griddle coming out, which we have a specific cold climate, ambassador we're looking for that's going to be testing that out for us. I think in the Ohio region, which we're pretty excited about. And on top of that, and this is kind of we're doing this in a somewhat kind of throttled release. We've released our touchscreen controller, and so that's not even on our website yet. It's available through our user group. It's available kind of over the phone. It's capacitive screen, so kind of the same screen technology as an iPhone. Touch screen, 4 probes. Got Wi-Fi that you connect via Bluetooth. It's a cool deal. It's I think it's a really cool deal. It's taken us probably 3 years to get this thing kind of off the ground, and we are releasing it kind of on a limited release basis to beta test, kind of work on any kinks. We don't want to be putting, hundreds of these out there, and then all of a sudden you have hundreds that you got to go figure out and work through.
Yep.
So we've been doing it just kind of on a more personal level, I guess I'll say, right? You call in, we fully explain to you what it is and what it does, and then you buy.
From a probe standpoint, is the same manufacturer doing both sides of that, or do you use a different thermometer?
It's the same meat probe.
Yep.
It's the same meat probe. Yep. So we're using Probes Unlimited out of Pennsylvania.
All right.
So it's American made also. Nice. And then it's the same controller manufacturer as well. It's the guys out of Alabama.
And it's easy to, like, what do you unscrew it, take out some connectors, plug the new one in, and screw it in?
That's right. 2 screws. It's the same kind of window, fits in the same window as our existing controller. Same Molex connection, right? So it's just kind of quick disconnect, quick reconnect. I mean, it's meant to be retrofit, to retrofit on our existing products and make life easy for everybody.
So if somebody's listening and they have something that can be retrofitted, they can just lob you a phone call. You go over the finer details, and if they're ready, they can buy it, and away they go.
That's exactly right.
All right. So if you have,
and same thing if they were gonna buy a grill, if they were in the market to buy a grill, they can call in, ask the questions. We can make it part of their new grill too.
Nice. All right. So the new touchscreen controller, if you're interested, call Ryan or the gang over there at Pits and Spits. Let them know you're interested, or buy that grill like he was talking about and add it on. You'll be very happy with that. Anything else, Ryan, before I let you go tonight?
I think that's it, man. I like the advice you had of, buy bigger.
Always.
Don't be afraid to go for it. Just go for it. You'll be happy you did.
Ryan, always appreciate the time. Thanks for coming on.
Cool. Thanks, Greg.
You got it. Ryan Zaboral right there. If you were hoping to see him at the Houston Livestock and Rodeo, nope. Instead, go see him in the office or the showroom. Make an appointment. Don't just show up and ask for the owner. I mean, who do you think you are? Me, the sales guy? Very limited number of us that know how to work in like that. Make an appointment and then go check out all the cookers they have there through some dealers as well. I think Academy was carrying them at one point. So depending on what you're up to, that might work for you. All right. I think I'm going to save those. Not a lot of time. I'm just trying to figure out how I'm going to work this in. How about you just stick around and see what I'm up to next? Be right back.
Continuing to produce incredibly mediocre content in an exceptionally professional way. You're listening and watching the Barbecue Central Show. Once again, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
And we thank Ryan Zaboral for joining us last segment. pitsandspits.com/BBQ Central. At Pits and Spits, all spelled out, on Instagram if you'd like to give them a follow. New products coming out. I don't know if you picked it up or not, but it sounded like this guy was getting a 3-burner gas grill / griddle combo. Now, maybe you saw it on my Instagram story that the last time Jess Pryles was on, she talked about bringing your own personal steak knife wherever you want to go. It looks like a everyday carry pocket knife. However, no. There it is. Your Damascus steel steak knife. Totally serrated. Yes. Look at that. Oh, it's got the nice design on the blade. Oh, this is like a 2.5, maybe 3 inch. I'm telling you, cut your finger right off. Don't make me do it. And you fold into the throat here, fold it down, stick it in the pocket, and then you can go to the next steakhouse. Right here, it's got a nice assist open. Whoop. There you go. And I think she said it was like $40. It's got a nice composite handle. Very nice design there. It gives it that nice Damascus steel look. But now, you can be the total bag in the high-end steak restaurant. Bring your Thermapen to see if they cooked your steak to the right temperature. And then when they bring you that oversized steak knife, nope. Sorry, Sally or James. It just so happens I have my own Damascus steel personal steak knife. And now I'm going to eat. Please don't ask me, how do you wash it after you're at the restaurant? I don't want to hear it. Go to hardcorecarnivore.com and buy yours. Cut yourself with it and let me know what you think. We're heading to the second hour. You're listening and watching the Barbecue Central Show right here on the Barbecue Central Network. Stick around. We'll be right back.